Hey guys, it's Tamara, the Judeo-Christian medium. Just wanted to say a belated Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, Happy Armenian Christmas, which was yesterday, January 6th, 2026. Today is January 7th, 2026. So I know this is very late, but I wanted to do an energy read on 2026. I prayed to Jesus and he told me to come on tonight to do it. So there's a lot. I'm going to separate this into tonight, which is an energy read, and then I'm going to do predictions. So I'm in my car. As many of you know, I moved to the country and bought a Tesla in September. Jesus asked me to. We went round and round, argued a lot. It's hard to explain. I just I thought it sounded kind of crazy, but when I talk to Jesus, sometimes he asks me to do crazy things, just like to come on here and talk about talking to him. And so I am getting used to it. And I've had to apologize for arguing with him about it because I love my Tesla. I bought it in September in the United States, and in the United States, as far as my taxes go, the government gave me $7,500 off of this car. So anyway, I bought it at the perfect time. So anyway, also, sorry for moving the camera around. I'm in my car. It's just a comfortable seat for me. Thank you, Elon. I love this car. I love the seat. But anyway, just to let you all know, Jesus recommends getting a Tesla. Jesus is a big fan of Elon Musk and what he's doing. Elon is a tall white. But anyway, that's a whole rabbit hole. I've talked about that in the past. I'll talk about that in the future. You can follow these like storylines, backstories, information. You can follow all of that by looking at my videos, going back in time. That will explain more. I'm on Instagram and Twitter, so you can scroll down. You can look at different people I've talked to Jesus about, and you can look at their histories. Okay, so that being said, let's get into 2026. So before we get started, I would like to pray to my spiritual team. And I'm going to hold the camera, try to hold the camera steady, but if you'd like to pray with me, pray with me. First, I would like to thank God, who is all around us. Thank you, God. Thank you for life. I'd like to pray to Jesus, who sits on my upper right. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for peace. God connects to Jesus, who connects to Mary Magdalene. I'd like to thank Mary Magdalene. Thank you for patience. Mary Magdalene connects to Mother Mary. I'd like to thank Mother Mary for comfort. Mother Mary connects to Father Joseph. I'd like to thank Father Joseph for stability. Father Joseph connects to, in a small circle, across the circle to the right, to Archangel Michael. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Thank you for protection. Archangel Michael connects to Archangel Metatron. Thank you, Archangel Metatron. Thank you for entertainment. Archangel Metatron connects to Archangel Eric Medhus. Thank you, Archangel Eric Medhus. Thank you for communication. You can pray to Archangel Eric Medhus to communicate to whoever you'd like to in spirit. He's really good at that. Thank you, Archangel Medhus. Thank you for communication. Archangel Medhus connects to Archangel Gabriel. Thank you, Archangel Gabriel. Thank you for acceptance. Archangel Gabriel connects to Archangel Sandalphon. Thank you, Archangel Sandalphon. Thank you for intelligence. Archangel Sandalphon connects to Archangel Azrael. Thank you, Archangel Azrael. Thank you for organization. Archangel Azrael connects to Archangel... Sorry, I forgot. Archangel Raphael. Archangel Sandalphon connects to Archangel Raphael. Thank you, Archangel Raphael. Thank you for healing. I got a little ahead of myself. I'm trying to, I don't want to make the video too long for you guys. Sometimes that happens. Thank you, Archangel Raphael. Thank you for healing. Archangel Raphael connects to Archangel Azrael. Thank you, Archangel Azrael. Thank you for organization. Archangel Azrael connects to Archangel Jophiel, which is very important for this read. This is Archangel Jophiel's year. Yay! Thank you, Archangel Jophiel. I'd like to thank Archangel Jophiel. We thank her for magical beauty. Thank you, Archangel Jophiel. She's here with us. She's coming in as a feminine energy, but all of these archangels are masculine and feminine. I'll explain more about Archangel Jophiel in just a minute. Archangel Jophiel connects to Archangel Uriel, which is me. Thank you, Archangel Uriel. Thank you for my mission. Archangel Uriel connects to Archangel Zadkiel. Thank you, Archangel Zadkiel. Thank you for balance. Archangel Zadkiel connects to Archangel Jeremiah. Thank you, Archangel Jeremiah. Thank you for wildness. Archangel Jeremiah connects to Archangel Raguel. Thank you, Archangel Raguel. Thank you for swagger. Archangel Raguel connects to Archangel Chamuel. Thank you, Archangel Chamuel. Thank you for calm. They're giving me energy while simultaneously calming me down. Archangel Chamuel connects to Archangel Ezekiel. Thank you, Archangel Ezekiel. Thank you for nutrition. Archangel Ezekiel connects to Archangel Haniel. Thank you, Archangel Haniel. Thank you for sleep. Archangel Haniel connects to Archangel Daniel. Thank you, Archangel Daniel. Thank you for humor. All of these archangels sit in the 12th dimension. They are all connected to God. What I told you about them, what I thank them for, is just a fraction of what they do. Feel free to talk to them anytime and ask them for those things and more. Make your own connection with them. So as I said in this read, I am Archangel Uriel. I am part of the soul group of Archangel Uriel, and part of my mission is to help others with their mission. And I do that in many ways. I'm doing that by making these videos, by talking to my spiritual team, talking to people who have passed. You can check out my About section if you'd like to learn more, and like I said, past videos. But right now I want to concentrate on the year 2026. And this year is in the energy of, watched over by not only all of these archangels, but especially Archangel Jophiel, who you heard me pray to for magical beauty. And please watch my 2025 year read that was governed by Archangel Azrael. And that was about, 2025 was about breaking down systems, organization, getting all of our ducks in a row. It was a heavier year. It was a more masculine energy, and it was what we needed. And hopefully many of you got organized, moved, got into place, got yourself together, got your psyche together, got grounded. All of these, it was sort of like a Capricorn energy, a Virgo energy, of just Archangel Azrael is very fatherly. He really asked us to get it together. I'm just laughing because at the end of the year, he really really forcefully in December asked me to make a video. I actually made not a video, but just like a little short about him saying, like, get it together, organizing. He had me organize a lot, guys. I just, with so much paperwork, with moving, with getting my Tesla, all of that, insurance, really boring stuff. And he's like, just push through. And I did. I also tried to balance it out. Jesus was like, balance out your energy, try to relax, try to do things that you enjoy. But it was, I have to say, 2025 for me, I don't know about you guys, was a very exhausting year. If you want to tell me about it, you can in the comments. But let's move on to 2026. Still keep Archangel Azrael in mind. Thank him for anything he helped you with. Thank you, Azrael. He also helped me make my will, which is a very emotional thing. He asked me to take the emotion out of it, which sometimes you need to do in order to push through things. You just need to, like, maybe see yourself as a movie character, or understand people before you, people after you have to do these things. You know, if you want the results, if you want to do like the mature thing, you know, they ask that you try to look at it objectively and just sort of push through. Okay. That being said, you can see I prayed to all of the archangels. I said that, I'm not sure if I said, but they are also Pleiadians, Arcturians, and tall whites. And just a quick just a quick explanation. Jesus told me when God created humanity, he got together with the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, and the tall whites, and the reptilians, who were already in existence in the universe, and that's how he created humanity. So you can watch my previous videos explaining all of that. Okay, so moving forward, let's talk to Archangel Jophiel. Yay! She's all sparkly. She's coming down, like sitting on a star. Whew. If you have watched my John Benet Ramsey was Archangel Jophiel, you can watch that video. She's coming through as many people she's been on earth. Oh yes, I'm seeing, I didn't know this, George Michael. He says he'd like to talk to me, so I'll do a video of him in the future. Her face is coming to me as someone I've watched on YouTube before. I don't want to say who that is. I would want to ask her first for her permission to say who she is, especially because she's very into boundaries and protecting others. So keep that in mind this year. Even though Archangel Jophiel does represent magical beauty, that is the thing of beauty, boundaries and protecting yourself. So that's also with the help of Archangel Michael. But I'm just looking here, you know, when you film yourself, you can see yourself. So I'm just looking. Archangel Jophiel helped me, you know, pick out my sparkly eyeshadow. This lipstick, it's an older lipstick. It's bronze. It doesn't really look totally bronze in this light, but she also helped me pick out these earrings. These are antiques. I bought these at an antique store. So she helped me pick out the color. So also this shirt here, this turtleneck, it's light blue, which is a good color for me, and she helped me pick out these colors. This white here, so you can see my colors are a little brighter than some of the colors I've worn in the past, that some of the colors that have been in style. We have, at least in the United States, in many Western countries, we've gotten very sort of dour, grim, a little bit dark in our clothing, and she would like to change that this year. Let me also get to my notes, because I took a lot of notes. I took them very fast. Actually, I'm gonna take out my lipstick and refresh it. So I've never done that on camera. It's getting like, yeah, it's very dry in the Northeast. Let me see if I brought it with me. I'm sorry if this is like moving around. Do I have it with me? Oh, I do. Hold on just a second. I saw another YouTuber with bronze lipstick, and she's actually, she is Archangel Gabriel, and she's another protector of people. And I don't want to say who she is. Maybe someday I can like do a collab, trying to be hip, like a collaboration videos with these YouTubers, if, you know, they're comfortable. I understand if they're not too, because this is just, my car just turned off here. Let me, oops, let me just close the door. There we go.
Save over $200 when you book weekly stays with Verbo this winter. If you haven't seen your college best deal,
ooh, let me turn this off.
You need a week to catch
this
up.
This is the radio.
Take a week-long vacation.
Sorry, guys.
And save over $200.
Technical difficulties. There we go. Oh goodness, sorry about that. Not used to filming in my car. So all of these technical difficulties, I think it's a good time just to get to the notes. So, okay, like I said, this is Archangel Jophiel's year, and you can also look her up. You know, I'm just giving you the information that she's given me and Jesus has given me, and you know, I'm sure there's a lot of information out there about her. But so over time, Jesus has unfolded this information to me. So, oh my goodness. Okay, let me turn the light on. Sorry about that, guys. So, I think my car does its own thing with like conserving energy too. Okay, so turn this light on too. So, over time, Jesus has explained to me that each archangel has a number. In fact, all of us have a number, which is kind of crazy. So like my number is 11. Archangel Azrael is number 9. Archangel Jophiel is number 10. So this year, when you add up the year in numerology, is a number 10, which reduces down to 1. So numerologists are calling this like a 1 year. So you can look that up too, as what a 1 year means. You can also look up your own personal year. So interestingly enough, guys, last year was a 9 year, which represents endings and everything I told you before, but it was my personal number 9 year, which was kind of scary. I did have a few incidences. The number 9 year, not to scare you guys, but it is a year that if it's your time, you can pass over. So just to keep that in mind. A lot more goes into that, but I had a few near misses, but also if you look at my history, I've had a couple, you know, near-death experiences, lots of metaphysical experiences, out-of-body experiences. So, but anyway, this year is a 10 year. So I was like, phew. Just get me through the 9 year. I had protection. I was told this isn't your time to go. Even with that protection, maybe someday I'll tell you guys, because I did have a scary incident, but that will be in the future. But anyway, so Archangel Jophiel's number is 10. That's why this is her year. Jesus has told me, and Jesus will unfold information to me. He is my main guide, and he helps me talk to everyone along with Eric Medhus. But he's just explained to me slowly over time. I say slowly, but actually to me it's been a lot, and I'm even starting to forget things that I've made videos about when I first started doing this. But all of these archangels in the 12th dimension, they each have a number, like I've said, and so this is Archangel Jophiel's number 10, and this is her year. So the elements of this year are gold and silver. So now would be a good time to buy gold and silver if you haven't already. I didn't realize, they've told me, I've heard other YouTubers say this too, that you know, buying gold and silver is good. I didn't know that. And, they had me buy these silver earrings. So, they're an investment. Keep that in mind this year if you want to invest in gold and silver or buy yourself something sparkly. Also, brighter colors are coming in. Like I said, this is a good color for me, but think of pastels. So I started seeing pastels actually in 2020, and they were showing me the future, that we were going from darker colors, gray, brown, into lighter colors. And that's with everything. That's with our furnishings. And that might be hard for you to think about right now, because for many years we've been using darker colors, and all these images came to mind, even in homes, like lots of grays, muted colors, which have been very nice. And you don't have to go and change all of your I know that many of you do want to keep up to date and maybe make some changes, but you can do that with rugs and pillows and accessories and things like that. But yeah, with this Archangel Jophiel energy, we are going to see just a lightening up of our lives. So think about that, where you would like to lighten up, where you would like lighter colors. It's a really good time to get your colors read. So also a really good time if you do feel like you're a galactic, or and you can look that up in, what does it mean to be galactic? If you feel like you have talent in colors, in auras, that's coming back again. And they're telling me that was like really big in the early 2000s. I remember I had my aura read then. So they're showing me that. Let me adjust my heat here. It's getting a little warm, and I want to conserve my battery. I'll be talking more about my Tesla and just how awesome it's been. And I have a charger at home, and I don't have to go to gas stations. But anyway, I digress. If you don't know me, I have ADHD and autism, so ADHD, so I go on little tangents. But anyway, I try not to, even though it's my personality, and I don't mind when other people go on tangents. Actually, sometimes I get a little bored when people don't go on tangents. But anyway, I've talked about that before, and we'll talk about that in the future. Let's get back to Archangel Jophiel. So yes, we're moving from, and this makes a lot of sense, we're moving from the organization of Azrael, to beauty. And doesn't that make sense, guys? How getting organized can lead to beauty. It's interesting even for me to talk about beauty. Now, I've been talking about it with the spiritual team for a while, but at first when I talked to them about it and stuff, I was living in New York, and I was a flight attendant and an actress, and my life was very compartmentalized and very organized in a way. I traveled, and I wore a lot of dark clothes. I wore brands like Uniqlo and The Gap and things like that. I really, really worked on being nondescript, not drawing attention to myself. I didn't want to be like a victim of a crime. I didn't want to stand out. And that's all well and good. But Jesus says that we are creative beings. We are a mixture of masculine and feminine, whether we are straight, gay, bi, male, female. We all have a different mixture, but he has emphasized, with the help of Archangel Jophiel, how important beauty is. And many of us have mistakenly mixed up beauty with arrogance, and that is not the case. And many of us, in order to virtue signal, have dulled our shine, toned down, made ourselves one of the crowd, and also not wanting to stand out, especially living in big cities, traveling all the time, like being a good girl, being a good person, having light luggage, saving for our future, for the future generations. And Jesus says it's just gotten to be too much. And, a lot of us can see that. Jesus says it can make us depressed. And actually, I'm not going to mince his words. He said a lot of people are depressed about this. And Jophiel's still here. So when I mention Jesus, they're a team. This is also Archangel Jophiel is overseeing this reading. But guys, it's depressing. Like, we're here for a short period of time. Of course, we need balance. And actually, Archangel Jophiel is telling me right now that she's, her energy, him, their energy is of a Libra. So that is balance. So this is a year of balance too. So keep in mind, when you're going towards beauty, don't overdo it. Archangel Jophiel saying, don't be tacky. So, yeah, she's showing me too. It's the year 2026. And so they're showing me the 1980s. So anything 80s will be back in style. And the 80s were drawn upon from the 50s. So how does that happen? These trends like this, they the way I can describe it, the way they've shown it to me is like, actually it's energy, what energy represents, and then in combination with like people who pass. So like, say people passed in their 50s, they had that energy, they had that way of dressing, that way of being, and it's like their souls bring it back. And it's, of course, this is all overseen by these archangels, by God. And this is how like trends are created. And it's kind of interesting too. I'm sitting on this information, and then it's like, people can make a lot of money on this information, and that's not my thing. Like, not that I'm, I am pro like individualism, making money, capitalism, that stuff. But personally, like, I don't jump on all that stuff. And it's kind of interesting that I would be given these messages, but like, yeah, my spiritual team is really into showing me trends too. And over time explaining what trends mean and why. So it's interesting when children are born in certain generations and the energy that they bring in. So this generation, the younger people now are bringing in, they're showing me like young adults getting back in, and a little bit younger than that, getting really back into the 80s. And then even like the younger ones are, it's very hard to explain because English and words can sound so extreme, but they're just showing me the energy of the greatest generation coming back. So a little more seriousness, but we will talk about all of that when that unfolds. Right now, the 80s feel is coming back, the vibe, the music. They've been having me listen to like a lot of 80s music, a lot of 80s Christmas music, which is very bubbly and happy. Not that the 80s were all perfect. It was a time of materialism. So think about that aspect of beauty and nice objects. You know, the objects that I have. I'm sitting in a Tesla, my beautiful earrings, my makeup. So I'm trying to keep it at a good, healthy level, because you may say, like, because we got so far away from materialism, you may say, like, Tamara, like, how can you consider that healthy? Well, you know, somebody sold me these earrings. I bought these from an antique store. So helping them is healthy. Somebody cut my hair. Helping her is healthy. Made this hat. Helping them is healthy. My optometrist. These nice frames. You know, buying this lipstick, it's kept selling because it's a nice color. So actually, I'll tell you guys, this is called Revlon Iced Mocha, and I used to wear this in the 80s. So, you know, in order to keep making this lipstick, like, you know, these people need to get paid. They need to get paid. Their staff needs to get paid. Goodness here. If many of you have been following me, you can see, like, I get very chapped lips in the winter. Maybe someday in the future, I will talk about that a little bit. But anyway, we'll go through this. Turtleneck is from LL Bean. They have been around for years. And how do they make it? By making beautiful things like this turtleneck. It's all cotton. It stands up. It's comfortable to wear. It's soft. It's a pretty color. If you call LL Bean, which I highly recommend calling them, they have an incredible staff that's always so nice. And then this sweater is from Brooks Brothers, which is, I love buying stuff from them. They're an American company. They're into high quality, as you can tell here. This sweater is like a few years old. It's soft. It's just well stitched. I love it. And then, so this coat is from Burberry. Now, this is not American. It's the only thing I have that's not American. Everything else is, because I try to support America. So Jesus and Archangel Jophiel are asking that you support the country that you're in. Try to buy local goods. Try to go to your farmer's market. And just also try to even buy from companies that you love. So, you know, like if you get things from Amazon, if you feel like they're fair to you, fair trade, they treat you well, go with them. So this is all in combination. So why am I wearing a Burberry coat if I'm, you know, so into buying American? Well, I love the company. You know, in the future, I also have American coats. I have a lot of coats from Brooks Brothers. I highly recommend that. I just love the design. I love how this collar stays up. I love how it just doesn't automatically have like that fur collar. I love how sturdy it is. I love the sturdy zipper. I am also of Celtic ancestry, of Ireland, the Isle of Wight, and Northern England. So this is energetically really good for me. It's part of like my vibe. So keep that in mind. Now is a really good year to rediscover your own vibe. What works for you. You know, many of you who have known me for years know that I have filmed a lot in like New York hats, Yankees hats, you know, and navy sweatshirts, and that has significance for me. I don't know what will be in the future. I know that I do want to buy more gold, so you might be seeing that from me. But you know, I'm talking about myself in relation to helping you. So please remember, when I do that, that is a highly like ADHD trait of like autistics and ADHDers do that. You may think they're just droning on about themselves, but it's a way of relating. It's a way that I relate to people. So when you hear me talking about myself, it's just about me learning and then passing that on to you. Now, I'm someone who for years, maybe since I was a teenager, wouldn't talk about like, you know, the things that I have, material things, because that's been a huge part of Western culture. And we need to balance that out. Yes, we don't want to be greedy. We don't want to be materialistic. We had a lot of like a lot of movies, and Jesus says like some of the messages were great, you know, like Wolf of Wall Street, you know, like I was thinking of Gordon Gekko, like read is good. Try to watch those movies from the 80s, guys. Especially if you're struggling this winter with the lack of sunlight and you know, just winter. You know how it is. It's harder. It's harder on your body. It's harder on your psyche. Maybe things that I'm talking about, go down rabbit holes, especially if you feel like you're galactic, which if you are galactic, you know, watch my other videos on if you're galactic. You know, you fall somewhere on the spectrum of ADHD and autism. So rabbit holes are good for you. Go down rabbit holes. Go down an 80s movies rabbit hole. Now is like a really good time to do that. Watch these old movies from the 80s. And understand, like, Metatron is coming through. Metatron and Jesus and Jophiel have told me, like, unfortunately, due to lack of originality, Hollywood has regurgitated so much, and in colleges and stuff, about the opposite of, you know, greed and well, virtue signaling and guilt inducing, and so many movies about the same themes, about the bad corporation and the bad greedy rich person and the nice poor person. It's really been exaggerated to the point where Jesus is worried. Archangel Jophiel, all of the archangels are worried that, you know, we have gone too far, where people are associating like not having anything, giving all of their material possessions away. And I understand that, as Archangel Uriel, in my group is Saint Francis. I was not Saint Francis, but in my group. So, you know, that was something that he did. He was wealthy. He gave everything away. Many, many religious people have done that. But that Archangel Jophiel and Jesus would like you to think of it this way. People make things, beautiful things for us to have. We don't want to go back to, you know, the people that have pulled away from that. We don't want to be greedy. We don't want to be overly materialistic. So actually, what does the word materialistic mean? What does that word mean? It means like putting material things over like human relationships and being greedy. So if you don't do that, if you're not greedy, don't deny yourself pretty things. Don't deny yourself nice things. And this is for men and women. And men have really been shamed for wanting boats and cars and airplanes and things like that. But guys, so that has to do with progress too. So, you know, think of this energetically too, as last year Archangel Azrael had us get our money organized, our life organized. Well, what are we going to replace that with? Like, why? So God, Jesus, and the archangels want you to enjoy your life here on earth. It's a balance. Archangel Jophiel represents Libra, which represents balance. So let's get back into balance, into alignment. Let's be okay with having pretty things without, you know, being arrogant and showing off. But having pretty things and saying to pretty people like, oh, you have nice eyes. Oh, you have nice earrings. Oh, that's a nice shirt. Because that's been something that has been happening too, that Jesus has been upset about, is, you know, sending attractive people to earth and having them never get complimented and never get, you know, it's just this counterculture, this anti-attractiveness, anti-talent, anti-having nice things. So it's not helping. It's not helping society. It's not helping our culture. We stop buying nice things, we'll be charged the same amount for bad things. So, you know, you can see that over time. Like, a lot of people stopped buying like Ralph Lauren and Brooks Brothers and, you know, whatever country you're from. So, you know, if you're from France, like Chanel, although the other countries haven't all done it as bad as the Americans. Americans have for years been like wearing no jewelry, buying their clothes at a huge, not that it's horrible, but like, because it can be funny, it can be fun, it can be dad-like, but buying their clothes at Costco. So, you know, everyone's looking the same. And you'll even see like pictures of women coming on who are wearing like square male shirts from Costco, and part of it is like virtue signaling. Sometimes it can be like a woman who, you know, she's like lesbian and, you know, wants to be masculine. So, you know, there's a lot involved, but we're overdoing it and we're not saving any money. The prices of homes have gone up, real estate. Now people are buying their clothes at Costco and buying their groceries at Costco and their gas. And they're not doing better than generations prior to them that dressed well and, were able to, live a more, what we would call materialistic life, going on cruises, going on vacations, eating out, like just whatever people stop, they raise the price of other things. So how do we combat this? Jesus and Archangel Jophiel are saying just use discernment. Be honest. Be honest about what you find beautiful. Compliment attractive people. Tell them you like their stuff. If someone gets a new car, if they get something very amazing like this Tesla, I'm sorry guys, but and I argued with Jesus, and Jesus is like, okay, we gave Archangel Sandalphon the information, the blueprint to make a Tesla. Everyone asked for electric cars. It's a race car. It's it can be more expensive than other cars, but not much more than most cars. So with that, you're getting an electric vehicle, a race car. So Jesus would like you to look at it this way, like you're living in a time where you could buy a charger for your home and charge your own vehicle at home. Charge your car and have a beautiful car, beautifully made. And that is not harming the environment. And unfortunately, so many of you who know my videos, who know what Jesus has told me, Jesus has told me a lot about darkness, where it comes from. He calls it the dark reptilian energy that lives in the 4th dimension. So, please watch my old videos, but use discernment, guys. When someone's an energy or an organization or someone is trying to tell you something bad is good, watch out for that. We know, Jesus and Archangel Jophiel was saying, we know what's good. In this year, like, we know what's pretty. We know what's attractive. And yes, and Jesus and Archangel Jophiel are saying most people do fall along the lines of being attractive in certain areas. Maybe one person has nicer hair, and not that many people fall on the extremes of like supermodel or, what we would be considered to be very unattractive. And those are incarnations which were agreed upon to come on. So, let's not do the opposite, which was done in the past, and call people ugly, call people names, make fun of their nose and this and that, because, Archangel Jophiel and Jesus are saying one man's junk is another man's treasure. And in my lifetime, I can see that, people that I look through my history in my personal life, I have dated attractive people, but I've also dated conventionally unattractive people. I've been attracted to, especially like that sort of like Jewish look, like with, certain like bigger type lips, a bigger nose, thicker brown curly hair. And I've seen YouTubers that were like, one YouTuber I saw like dark circles under his eyes, very Jewish looking, and he talked about how he's unattractive. And I actually said in a comment, like, you're my type. So beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Many of us can agree on what's beautiful. Like, obviously, not many people are going to say like these, earrings are not beautiful. Of course, like, you know, if you have like a punk style, which I like, you know, you might say these are old lady earrings, and I am an old lady, so, you know, I get that. But I think you guys are getting my point. Like, be truthful. Truth in beauty. This is a year of truth in beauty. It's a year of restoration, being honest. So being truthful about, this isn't brutal honesty, guys. When I did improv, you know, oftentimes we would do this an exercise. Inevitably, I was a coach, and you know, my teachers would say, like, and I fell into this trap too. They would say, okay, let's just be honest. Like, let's have some scenes where you just say something like honest that you've thought. And guys, inevitably people would go to these very dark places and be like, you know, very insulting or dark, creepy. And that isn't necessarily honesty. Like, okay, so Jesus and Archangel Jophiel are interjecting too. They would like you to take this time to stop worrying about dark thoughts. And that will help you also protect you from negative energy. Just understand that we do have dark thoughts, that there is a negative energy that talks to us, that feeds off of darker thoughts, fears, phobias, just the heaviness of earth. And I've talked about that in other videos, and I will talk about that in the future, how that can do that, what makes it worse. So, you know, it can be a cycle, having dark thoughts, then maybe like doing something dark for your body, smoking cigarettes, drinking too much, taking substances, which opens up like these portals of energy just to hear and feel more dark thoughts. But Jesus and Archangel Jophiel would like you to beautify your spirit, like, and don't worry about dark thoughts. When you pass, when you have your life review, I've passed, I've had my life review. I'm working out my life review here on earth. It started when I passed, and it's continuing. So, understand, when you are going over your life review, when you're going through your life review, you're not going to be going over every dark thought you have. The dark thoughts don't even matter. Like, you know, incredibly dark, plotted out thoughts, of course, matter. But just like, you know, the random human dark thoughts, don't worry about those. Let them pass, and think about like the good thoughts you have and the good messages that you're getting, and watch people who give you positive messages or what you consider to be truthful messages. It's very hard to talk to people about truth and truth in beauty without them thinking that they have to be brutally honest. Brutally honest is not nice, and it's not recommended. Let me turn my car on again, guys. I'm gonna open the door. I left my key fob inside.
With Verbo, save
Turn
up
off
to
the
$1,500 for booking a month-long stay. When thousands of sunny homes
music
are waiting
again.
for you, why subject yourself to the cold? Put the snow shovel down.
Sorry, guys. I don't want to get in trouble for having music on.
Slip into some flip-flops. Consider a sunless tan.
Oh, goodness.
And use the monthly stays filter to save up to $1,500.
There we go. Okay. All of these things were coming on my screen because I just had an update. Not a good advertisement for Tesla because I'm like fighting with the screen, but just know, guys, if I could figure it out, you could. So anyway, I'm gonna turn the heat back up. Where was I? Oop. Truth in Beauty. Turn the lights back on. Yes. Okay, let's move on from that. Look at my notes. It's a year to pull back layers. See where the damage is. See where you can fix it. Yeah. So they showed me like Archangel Azrael is like cutting nails. And then Archangel Jophiel is painting them. They showed me that they love analogies. I love analogies. I don't think you can watch my channel if you don't like analogies. And that's very galactic if you like analogies, and very neurodivergent. So if you're neurotypical, I'm sorry, you might like just to like sort of get to the point of things, but that's not me. So or if you are neurodivergent but you don't accept yourself, you'd have a hard time watching me. If you try to pretend to be like succinct and neurotypical, you might, if that is you, you would probably find yourself bullying yourself and other neurodivergent people. Anyway, okay, moving on. Yes, this is going to be a time. Don't be surprised if you just suddenly like look at your car, look at your hair, your makeup, and be like, like time for a makeover, and you see all the cracks in your house. And yeah, don't be surprised if that happens. Don't freak out. Make plans for restoration, and if you do restoration this year, you're probably going to enjoy it. So yes, see ugliness, see cracks, want to restore things, want to wear sparkly, buy gold shoes. I bought a pair of gold shoes, silver shoes. I'm thinking back to the 80s, we wore silver belts, and think back to the clothing of that time too. Suspenders, belts, everything was proper. We had we wore sweaters and undershirts and suspenders and belts and all of that proper stuff. And that's all useful stuff. A lot of it we've all stopped wearing. Belts are good when you lose weight. You change the notch. Suspenders hold up your pants. So think about that. Men wearing ties again, men wearing suits again. Think about holidays. Stars are going to be popular again. Sparklers for the 4th of July. Yes, reinvesting in old gold and silver now is just a great time. Like I said, I bought these at an antique store. Now is a great time to go to antique stores and to buy this stuff. Some of this stuff I've written down, I've already talked about because they're talking to me now. And I love that. They do that for me too. It just validates that they're there, that I'm really talking to them. Anything magical is favored, mystical, mysteries. It's a time to move, like not, I don't want to say get rid of, but not you know, we're moving past the overly functional things, moving away from like anything tacky or trashy. You know, like, they're showing me like everything hanging out, all of your emotions being on display, with your bra straps being on display, and they're asking that you cover up a little bit more. And you know, they're showing me like at the gym, like this kind of a gross thing, I don't know how to put it into words, but you know, people are showing the insides of their bodies by wearing like, you know, very thin leggings and then no underwear. And so, you know, I'm just gonna put it out, I'm just gonna say the truth, like we're getting really trashy and really tacky, and just know that that's going out of style. So I have this written down, guys. The way I'm saying it is like right in order. Archangel Jophiel this year is going to favor pink and pastels and light yellow. And Easter is going to hold a special time. We're all really going to, really, if you're honest, if you open yourself up to this energy, which I recommend, you know, just open yourself up to the loveliness of this all, the loveliness of this Easter, even though, you know, religiously it's a hard time when, you know, Jesus passed. But from a beauty standpoint, really embrace Easter this year, the colors of Easter. If you have time, if you have energy, maybe, you know, if you have children, color eggs. It's a great time this year. Buy some nice light candles, wear some nice light scents. Jesus is showing me rose, lilac. Archangel Jophiel just said gardenias, like really, you know, something that maybe you made fun of in the past. Maybe you called it like an old lady perfume, and maybe it is, but maybe you feel like dressing like an old lady. Maybe you feel like going out, just think about this, like going out proper, going to church and wearing a dress and wearing a real purse, like maybe a clutch, not just, you know, a knapsack, or, you know, one of those body type things, you know, just for, well, like you're in the military, like just, you know, just for utility. We're going to let the utility stuff that stuff is going to fall away. But by all means, you know, be yourself. If you love that stuff and that's what makes you happy, then, you know, just ignore these messages. So an interesting thing, something that I've done in the past and I will do, is like mixing preppy with like punk, you know, or preppy with new wave. And you can't see here because I'm having a bad hair day, but I got a little bit of a punky haircut. And even though like Jophiel's beauty and punk is sometimes considered harsh, the next haircut I'm getting is going to be a little more punky. And, you know, I think punk is beautiful. The eyeliner, the makeup, and you know, this year I think I'm gonna mix it with preppy, and you can do that too, guys. And if you guys have known me for a while, this is kind of like a new thing I'm doing. I'm primping. I put on the lipstick. I'm primping. I'm talking about like material things I own, my car, my clothes. This is new for me. And I like it. It's honest and it's fun. Gemstones are going to be really big this year if you can, or if you're into it. Maybe it'll be a job. A lot of people come to me saying they're tired. You know, it's what we hear on the internet all the time. Yes, people are tired of the 9 to 5, especially galactics, with because it's the 9 to 5 atmosphere. I've never worked like a 9 to 5 job. I've never worked in that kind of setting. I don't think I would fit in. It's a very neurotypical environment. So, and I'm not criticizing neurotypicals. I appreciate all y'all who work in those industries. I appreciate everything that you do, how you work together, and you handle like insurance claims and, you know, all that stuff. But if you are not neurotypical, I just mentioned gemstones, maybe like the world needs, and Jesus and Archangel Jophiel are saying, guys, the world needs real people to do real like things that they did in the past. We need jewelers. We need jewelry makers. We need people who buy and sell antiques. My brother Freddie's coming in, who's Archangel Gabriel. We need people to build things, people who have patience, people who have skills, people who can cut hair. You know, obviously, like, so many people are into doing makeup on the internet, which is another thing. Archangel Jophiel's like, you know, unless it really truly is your mission, your calling, like, try to move away from things that are already saturated. You know, people coming on the internet, you know, try not to copy people. Like, oh, you see, oh, that worked, I'm gonna do that. You know, I've had people come to me for readings, and now, you know, they're taking part of what I'm doing, and they're trying to do that, which is fine if that's their mission. But oftentimes it isn't your mission. Find your mission. What's your mission? What are you into? First of all, you have to be honest with what you really like. Go through your playlist. Who do you really watch? If you are really watching like eating videos, videos about fashion, or you know, like what are they called, reality shows, you know, maybe there's something in that for you. Maybe you could help people dress. Maybe you could, especially this year, because people are going to be more into it, more willing to pay for it. But maybe, like, if you're someone who's just always watching reality TV, maybe you want to get into, maybe you want to study psychology. Maybe you want to help people restore their faith in psychology, in like, you know, their mind and how they perceive things. Maybe you're really into human relationships and dynamics. Maybe you're seeing it from, you're watching these reality shows, and, you know, you're seeing things from a galactic perspective, and you're like, wow, that's how people think. Maybe you would want to start talking about that online. But guys, I just want to tell you, and don't look at me as an example, because, you know, my channel hasn't blown up. My channel was not meant to blow up. I've had opportunities to work with certain people. I've had opportunities to work with certain brands, and that helps you blow up. I've had people contact me, I don't know exactly what they're called, like promoters, like real promoters. And, you know, the most that I've done is I did legitimatize myself. I don't know what it's called on Instagram. I was asked by Instagram because I have like, I don't know the exact word for it, but it's like a sleeper account, meaning like I get lots of views, but people maybe aren't subscribing because of my content. You know, it's very controversial. I'm Jewish, Christian, and a medium. That doesn't really go together in, you know, traditional the tradition of any of those. The New Age sometimes have issues with Judaism and have issues with Christianity, and, you know, they all have issues with each other. But anyway, you know, I was asked if I would like that blue check mark because of my numbers, and I said sure. Like, Jesus said, okay, do that. But there's a reason that my account hasn't blown up. So don't look at that and say like, oh, this lady doesn't know what she's talking about, or she's not connecting to Jesus. If she was, she would have blown up. Well, you know, Jesus is saying, hey guys, like, you know, until his passing, until shortly before his passing, he wasn't popular. So, and, you know, I've had lifetimes where I wasn't that popular until like I almost passed. So don't look at me, but you can still take my advice. And I know that can be hard. We live in a time where it's like, oh, let's take advice from people who have made it, because I have a different idea of making it, and I have a purpose for not blowing up. That may change in the future, but we'll see. But right now, just know that, you know, have this information help you if it can. All right, so moving on. Sparkly silver, gemstones. Okay, so gemstones, rubies, garnets, blue topaz, aquamarine, diamonds. All of these things are going to be like back in style. Also just very unique, having pieces made that are unique. We're going to be seeing that, like very unique handmade engagement rings, people buying their engagement rings from antique stores. You know, definitely like looking for things the 80s, like looking for objects from the 80s, going back in time, going back to different eras. But as far as jewelry is concerned, that's, yeah, a popular time. Sparkly silver, blue hues, light blue. Yeah, I already said that. Find your individual style. Working with your hands. So this is all in regards to 2026, a good time working with your hands, making handmade items, you know, and doing anything that will offsets AI. Now, Jesus supports AI. Jesus and the tall whites and our Arcturians are helped create AI through humans. They give downloads, they give blueprints. So anything can be used negatively. So yes, AI can be used negatively. Water could be used negatively. We drink water, but we can spray water. Water is sprayed as a weapon. So think of it that way. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. AI can be helpful. Jesus says that they speak through AI sometimes. They're able to get into that frequency. So you can even get messages from spirit through AI. AI is incredibly helpful making this car that I'm driving, this phone that I'm talking on, medical equipment. So you can use AI conservatively, and you can live conservatively. Off-grid has been favored by spirit for a long time. Solar panels. So but don't also villainize AI is what they're saying. Okay. So when it comes to home design, something that might become, how do I I'm not putting it into the right words. Gothic design is going to be favored, is going to be making a comeback. Let me speak more definitively, not beat around the bush. I'm a Libra rising. I am sun and moon in Cancer. Sorry, I heard something beep right outside of my door. My sun and moon are in Cancer. Sun and Venus are in Cancer, but my rising and moon are in Libra. So I'm very Libra. Sometimes I do I'm too diplomatic and beat around the bush. But anyway, home designs, Gothic will be in, stained glass windows, religious objects, statues, religious figures, religious stained glass windows. Think of that for home. Natural wood is going to be making a comeback. You're going to see people breaking down homes looking for wood that was there in the past. That gray is going to be slowly inching out of fashion, but you can mix it, like I said. As far as actual fashion, also wearing fur, and many of you don't like that idea, so faux fur, cotton, silk, natural fibers, and just color. every other word, they're like color. So we're going to be starting with color, which could eventually be even leading back to how everything gets extreme, leading to neon. And again, use that judiciously. If you're not English and you're looking for a translation, use it sparingly, carefully. We had a lot of people go crazy. Archangel Jophiel showing me the big hair and the neon, and let's keep it in perspective. Jophiel saying don't get tacky. And she's also saying don't let me boss you around. These are suggestions. And that whole thing of staying home in your pajamas, working from home, that has its good and that has its bad. Introverts like that, just balance that. It's going to be balanced. Jophiel saying there's probably going to be a 50-50, and in some people, depending on where they fall on the, I'm like a dog, always looking around, depending on, I really am like a dog sometimes, guys, with my hearing and seeing and smelling. Anyway, so depending on where you fall on the spectrum of neurotypical and neurodivergent, which is really the spectrum of being galactic, where you fall on that scale, some people are going to be doing better working at home, and some people will be doing a hybrid. Some people do better in an office, and you have to think of the pros and cons of each. And, you know, and if you think of like this year of fashion, but many of you might want to work at home, but then, you know, find something you do socially where you're able to wear fashion. It's a really good time to get out there and dance, and not like the dancing, which is nothing wrong with it, but like the dancing on, I'm not on this, but like the TikTok, I sound so old, like the TikTok. But like, you know, like dancing in real life and dancing not to show off, like that's just become like, to me, guys, well, you know, I can groove. I love dancing. I used to always go out dancing, but not like the way that it's so like choreographed now, and so like people try to be perfect. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're really good at that, you know, that's cool and fun. But what I'm saying, and what Archangel Jophiel is saying, is like, we're going to get back to a time where people are just dancing for fun. And if you see that, guys, please support that. Like, you know, there's nothing cool about making fun of the way someone else dances. If they're having fun, like, sorry, you're the uncool one making fun of them. Just let people be. Let them have fun. Archangel Jophiel's coming through with this energy too, through me. Like, she's like, guys, let people have fun. Let yourself have fun. Enjoy things that humans have enjoyed since the beginning of time. You know, a nice glass of wine, holding hands, a fire, listening. Archangel Jophiel's really asking you to listen, and not listening in that antagonistic way. See, this is how anything positive can become negative. Not like the judgy listening where, like, you know, oh goodness, some people that I worked with in the entertainment industry must have gotten some memo about listening and how that would make them look good or something. And they over listened. It was so, anything unreal, guys, people are going to sense when you overdo it and when you're doing something that doesn't come naturally to you. So, like, you know, I'd be talking to people and they'd keep asking me questions and just staring at me and over listening. And hate to call out, it was a lot, it was men and women, but, you know, just people trying to, you know, I'm saying calling out the guys, people trying so hard to look intellectual. I'm not talking about that kind of listening, like really just listening to people. I'm really going to work on it this year. Sometimes I'm not the best listener because, you know, when I know what someone's going to say. So especially if they're just very measured and boring and, you know, they're speaking just to have their, like, to sound smart or have their words heard. I stop listening to them, but I've done it to a point where, you know, it's not good, where I'm not listening to people I should be listening to. So I'm really going to work on listening, and that's, you know, a way to like beautify your spirit. It's to be more receptive. And I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to listen to my spiritual team more. I'm going to try to make more videos coming on, talking to you guys. And that's a form of listening, is listening to my spiritual team and talking to you guys. I'm really going to try to make more time to do that. Let me see. Yes. So, things that, oh, we're shutting off again. Things that are going to be like going out of style are the tight, like I said, the tight leggings, gray, blacks, and drab colors. I was looking at, you know, my gym, and their sweatshirt that they have is like putty colored. It's like the color of mud. Anyway, so anything gross is going out of style. Exposing too much of yourself, your privacy, exposing too much skin is going out of style. TMI is going out of style. So that would mean the opposite. More privacy is in. And Archangel Jophiel wants to say again, exposing your behind, your bottom, your, I don't even want to say it because it's kind of yucky, but your cheeks, your bottom cheeks going out of style, exposing those. And just the exaggeration, guys. And I'm not judging you if you've had this work done, but the big lips are going out of style, the big behinds, the huge lashes, the excessive nails are going out of style. Things to replace it are like just, you know, nice eyelashes, more moderate. Your skin not being like too tan or too pale, too much foundation, you know, just lighten it up. Being toned instead of having like, you know, BBL. Hair, you know, if you're someone who's just, you overdo it, then by all means, you know, this is just, these are the messages that are going to help most people. The hair, they are recommending like going, like, think of the 80s but not so exaggerated, and also 90s like hair, like they showed me, they always like this because when they come through, they'll come through as what they like to. They oftentimes Jesus and, you know, my ancestors, and if you get a reading, like your ancestors oftentimes come through like fit, lightly tanned. California is always, they love that, but that'll be really in like, so if you're a hairstylist watching this, think of like, try to use restraint, especially if you have a regular client coming in. Try your hardest to do like nice precision layers, not this chunky, just grabbing clumps like Edward Scissorhands and chopping into hair. Like, show restraint in coloring, which is really hard. So like brown with like some highlights, that was done for a while, like, oops, in the 80s. Sorry, I'm playing with my windows here. I'm so old. Sorry, just had like an old person moment. But that was very short-lived, like, because it's not a huge moneymaker. But guys, as a stylist, if you do things like you keep letting people leave your salon and they look beautiful, like really beautiful, naturally beautiful, which we think naturally beautiful now. We think of like, you know, like, oh goodness, like the way I showed up in my last video. I didn't even, I went to get my will done and I didn't even shower. I looked at that in the sunlight. I'm kind of like, that was a bit much. But I really wanted to film at that time. But anyway, if you are a stylist and you're watching this and you can practice restraint, practice like just giving people, you know, like a color that is not, you know, like they're trying to show me, like, you know, we've really gotten out of control with like platinum. So giving someone like just a natural brown with some highlights without, and even though you're going to make less money, without like every single time you keep giving them highlights. That's what happened in the 90s until we got to the 2000s. And, you know, people just started going like white platinum. But Archangel Jophiel is saying like that's going out, like restraint. So restraint in hair and clothes, but also sparkly. So, you know, a happy medium. I knew I had one window down. Anyway, so use your best judgment, but because here I am talking about all this color and sparkles and restraint. But I guess I've described it the best way that I can. I think you guys understand. It's like you can shine and you can be sparkly and you can be pretty without going over the top. And not necessarily like the way I look. I have a very specific, unique style from, you know, I'm Gen X, from my era. You know, we were really into like this punk hair has come back a bit, and we wore hats in the winter. And, you know, I'm from New England, so this is kind of like my deal. But, you know, I'm not saying you should have my deal. I am saying, though, if you are from America, please try to buy American. I've said that before. Oh, yes, Archangel Jophiel is saying feathered hair is coming back. So that might be in my future. Like, I'm going to go a little bit punkier. And then I also just want to start fresh. And that's a great way to, you know, like cut all of my hair. And then, you know, when it grows back, summer or fall, I might like have it like feathered. Ooh, just almost pulled on my earring a little too much. That's such like, I don't know if you guys do that. Such like an ADHD thing. I think autistic too. Like just not even like, just not understanding, not having the right, I think it's called like proprioception in English. Like just not understanding where you could really like just hurt yourself. Oh. So I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but what is definitely going out is it's called the Lord Farquaad, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. It's like Farqued. It's like that hair that's like our founding fathers wore it too. I don't know how it's become popular, and forgive me if you have this hair. But it's like wavy. So you make it wavy. It's like a lot of people with straight hair, they curl it. It's like all one length, cut to here, and then it's like curled all the way around your head vertically, and then brushed out. But, you know, I get it. It was cool for a while, but it makes you look like that character, Lord Farquaad. So it's like, whoa, and then it just goes, like it just is like, yeah. Archangel Jophiel, myself, Jesus, we're not fans. We all talked about it. But anyway, again, do your own thing. If you love that, by all means, keep it. I think, hair that's like just cut like that at the bottom, like looks like a broom, looks like Lord Farquaad, looks like our founding fathers, looks like people throughout history before they learned how to cut hair. I hate to say it, before they learned how to cut layers. And hairstylists, if you're watching, I'm sorry. That's a very lazy cut. You're getting paid a lot of money to do that. Some people upwards in New York, $500 cutting someone's hair straight across on the bottom. And then sometimes in order to make it look like it's not just that, they just pull it up and they just cut right into it. So that's just looks like a worn out broom. I'm sorry. I don't want to go too off on that, but if you're watching this and you're a hairstylist, 2026 is the time to up your skills, up your game. If you're lazy, Archangel Jophiel saying like, expect that from 2026 on, over time, unless you're the only hairstylist in town, you will be called out. And how do you know if you're just being lazy? Like, unfortunately, being lazy and making money at being lazy has the opposite effect. So you will, if you're not already, start to become like not even want to do hair, become depressed, not even want to do the lazy cut. It will have a negative effect on you. I don't want to get too stuck there. But yes, like going out is having having stiff helmet head, just having the ends of your hair cut, which leads to just like very separated, piecey sort of square hair, having a square haircut, the really crazy Edward Scissorhand shag that's just has no shape. It's like long, short on the bottom and long, short as you're going through it. It's just a mess. Unfortunately, over time, Jesus and my team, Archangel Jophiel, have shown me that if you get that haircut over time, guys, like even the strongest hair, I'm turning off my heat, even the strongest hair will not survive because you're basically shredding it. They showed me like, when I was growing up, people loved to, if you go to gift wrapping, you can see this. They would take a piece of ribbon, which is like a square. So think of a stylist cutting a piece like that of your hair into a square. And then they're like shredding it with a scissors or a razor. So when you do that on a ribbon, it curls up. And maybe it makes your hair look thicker, like in that moment and for a little bit of time. But then over time, like stylists are doing that to your hair every single time. Even if you have the strongest hair, that's going up the shaft and destroying your hair. And so people are getting their hair cut shorter and shorter and shorter. Like for me, I'm going to be going to like an inch because I just want to start over. And many of you are going to have to. Like your hair has been cut that way for so long. You're going to have to, many men are shaving their heads because it's just all their hair is damaged. So, but as a woman, it's hard to, we're just going to see many people are going to go like very short and then let it grow out. Anyway, we'll see. I'm also excited to get like a kind of like a punky cut, like a feminine punky cut. You guys know what I'm talking about. So anyway, just lack of restraint is going out. So laziness, lack of restraint, lack of boundaries, lack of privacy, slovenliness, all of that is going out. So what's replacing that is excellence, neatness, mixed with the energy of Archangel Azrael of last year, organization, restraint. And you guys have seen a lot of my messages regarding like dating slowly, being slow to be physically intimate. A lot of that is beauty. A lot of that is beautiful. Like dating slowly can be very beautiful, you guys. You know, taking walks out in nature, going to the drive-in, sharing, like they're showing me the 50s, which was also like, you know, a little bit 80s, you know, things did start to get crazy, you know, in the 60s with free love and all of that stuff. But it got out of control to where, you know, we're seeing that, and that's going to be changing. So I'm referring to like one night stands and OnlyFans and all of that, guys, is not good for anyone. Even biologically, it's really bad for men and their hormones. It's obviously very bad for women. And again, if you're making money at that, this is, you know, this is not like this harsh judgment, but you just, Archangel Jophiel and Jesus are saying, like, you're not going to be happy doing that. No, we are getting carried away with the time. And just letting you all know, this is the energy for 2026. These are not predictions. I'm going to have to, Archangel Jophiel has a lot to say. And, you know, with Jesus chiming in, I find these messages to be very important. I find that they will help everyone now in 2026 long term. Body, mind, and spirit, helping your psyche. And I will get to the predictions. And also, guys, if you have time, if you're interested, go back and watch my videos. There are predictions about so many things have happened. In fact, like people started, you know, telling me like, oh my God, Tamra, you said this was going to happen and it happened. And I appreciate that. I really do, actually. It is validating. But then over time, most people have stopped. Some people message me privately and they're like, you were right about this. And I appreciate that. But if you guys want to, you know, let me know when something comes up. Anyway, many people gave up with all those comments and everything because it was happening so much. And I understand. I get that. Even me sometimes, like, things happen and I just kind of say to Jesus, like, oh my God, you told me. And I actually should be making like a bigger deal about it. But anyway, watch my videos. It's uncanny. Things that Jesus told me, like 99%, they're saying 99.9% of what they told me was going to happen will happen. So keep that in mind too in my next video when I do predictions. Or it might not be my next video because I have to do a video on Persia. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Sorry, I'm just distracted. So, yeah, I got right into it. Right right with this writing, it's just, it's so amazing. I wrote down dancing, concerts. So these are like date ideas and things you can do that are beautiful, romantic, 1980s, 1950s, dating, romance, fires, dancing, concerts, picnics, sporting events, real life, like going to watch baseball games, wholesome activities, instead of like, things going out like competing with each other, arguing, fighting about the battle of the sexes, and just awkward like zip lining, where they pull, that harness is pulling on your crotch and you're like, ah. Like some of these things, guys, we just need to like take a break from. At least rock climbing where someone's they're showing me that rock climbing in a gym where someone's underneath you, like just really like, again, we got obsessed with butts, the behind, like you going first and your date beneath you. So guys, people got wild and crazy, but is it getting people closer or no? So Archangel Jophiel's like, tone it down, calm down, keep it classy. All of those things that are super awkward, we've really, really gotten awkward and out of hand, and we're gonna get away from that, and take dating slowly and having someone slowly get to know you. Sitting down and having a nice, meal, and not that it's about the money or the food. In fact, using people, that whole idea, that's really, it's never been a nice thing, but like that, all that ugliness is on its way out. Doing shots, vulgarity, crazy drunkenness, and getting sick and all of that. Think of like having a buzz, being warm, being cozy, not being rude, being polite, soft light, going out for ice cream, eating slowly, not talking while you're eating, like letting the other person chew, having good manners, good dental hygiene, brushing and flossing, and some discipline. I'm not saying like be a perfect angel, like, or be a disciple, but value yourself. When you value others, you value being out in public, like being more put together, not being gross. And I'm not perfect. I my last video, I just really felt compelled to make a video in a moment, and I don't usually do that. It's, no makeup in the middle of the day. I had showered the night before, and, that's not going to be a regular thing for me. So respect for others will be becoming more popular. And for women, trying to like be the superwoman, if you can try to tone that down, and that would be like less, expectations for like perfection and perfect holidays and stuff, and just more leaning towards, just what truth and what you can do. And Jesus and Archangel Jophiel, they know that you all have like fought to work and all of that stuff, and so now we're seeing a time of like balance in your femininity, and they're not taking away all of that hard work that you've done, and they're not trying to make you barefoot and pregnant and all of that stuff, but they're just asking you to sort of reel it in where you feel that you need to reel it in. Oh, I'm getting a little dry. I'm gonna put on a little bit of this lipstick, even though that's not very private. But it is also beauty. And, we've talked about this, and, I haven't worn such an old-timey lipstick in so long that I'm just really loving it, and like, I don't know, just, it's fun. Archangel Jophiel's like, you know what? Some things are just fun and contradictory, because, just use your intuition. Even though that's like that wasn't a privacy thing, it's going along with the video, and it's really fun for me. It feels really good on my lips. Anyway, so yes, so, for women, they want you to take stock of like, when you call yourself superwoman and you do everything, also understand that a lot of that is for you. Like, tune in, like when I was talking about listening, they would like you, men and women, but tune into your partner, because a lot of things that women are doing in order to like make their life perfect, it's not, if you were to ask your partner, this is heterosexual, well, even like, LGBTQ plus partnerships, they run on a spectrum. Usually there's a masculine and a feminine, so this could apply to you guys too. But if you're playing that woman role and you're like, oh, I'm superwoman, I do everything, they want you to ask your partner, like, do you want me to do all of this? Because oftentimes your partner's not doing it because it's not their thing. So they're not going to want to decorate the house so big for Christmas, or make it so perfect when someone comes over. So a lot, or make the meal so like grand. And this is very contradictory. This energy from Archangel Jophiel is coming through, because I understand it because it's balanced, but it can be coming through as contradictory, because she's saying like, enjoy yourself and practice beauty. And so, that would make you think of maybe having like, more perfection in your decorating and stuff like that. And it's not that. It's, getting away from the drab, the grays, the darks, but also getting away from perfectionism is not beauty. I mean, it can be, measurements and architecture, but in real life, perfectionism actually can take away from beauty. So they want you to keep that in mind, and also talk to your partner. Like, we're really experiencing a battle of the sexes. So when you're in a relationship and you might think like, oh, I'm not going to ask especially like the feminine, like, I'm not going to ask him what he wants. That's misogyny. It's not misogyny. Like, having men, like, doing everything the masculine wants and having to do it in order to, like, stay with them, that's misogyny. But just, doing something that they want, or restraining something because they want it, or something that would actually be good for them that you as a woman would know, like maybe taking your time with intimacy is good for men. And maybe you know that, but you're like, well, that's what, they're asking for it, so it is what it is. Or like men prefer certain hairstyles and colors and makeup, and it's not that bad to make your partner, like, happy in that way, like, or at least ask them what they like. Like, imagine someone telling you, like, your opinion doesn't matter, like, even though you're my partner, like, how you think and feel doesn't matter. Or, like, we're getting to a point in culture where the feminine is just, like, saying that out loud a lot. Like, you don't matter. What your opinion doesn't matter. And I'm sorry, but if you're sharing a home with someone, living a life with someone, like, you have to work it out. And oftentimes, like, especially like really strong masculines, they kind of hand that over. But we're getting to a point where, and it Archangel Jophiel saying, like, she's saying about herself, like, if you think that I'm contradictory or I don't make sense, think about how this doesn't make sense. Think about how you would go by, like, the most extreme lashes and extreme butt lift and extreme lips. And you're saying, like, oh, I do it for myself. But then, or in hair extensions. But then say if your partner said, oh, I like you better with long hair, or I like you with a more feminine cut. Like, a lot of men really don't like the Karen cut, which is very popular now, like, or masculine, I should say. And for the LGBTQ community, like, and that too, like, maybe you're LGBTQ plus and you've always been, like, a popular haircut in that group is the Karen. Maybe you're the masculine. Maybe your partner doesn't like that, and maybe you don't even like it, but you're just following, like, what you think you should wear. Or you're trying to be like an ideology instead of a person. Like, you're like, I'm this, and then you have the look. They're saying, like, if that's true, by all means, keep your thing, but also be open and don't be, like, thinking that your partner might like something different. This is a hard concept to try to wrap your brain around it. I understand everyone's fought for their rights and stuff like that. So anyway, just something to sort of keep in mind. Sorry, just hearing things in my neighborhood, so I'm always cautious. Okay, moving on. And another thing too, Archangel Jophiel is coming through very feminine. Archangel Jophiel, Jesus, and my whole team would also like you to be honest about what makes you feel good. Because oftentimes the feminine energy, definitely like during the women's movement, wanted to work, wanted to have the right to work, which is different than wanting to beat men. Somehow it went from wanting the right to work to a battle of the sexes. They want you to find where on that spectrum do you fall, and to be honest with yourself. Like, because oftentimes as women are missing it. Like, so Jesus and Archangel Jophiel are showing me, like, maybe an example would be like, if you keep achieving at work, you keep beating out, like, like you're a lawyer and you just keep achieving, like, biologically, oftentimes the masculine, their body, their testosterone, like, ups from all of that, and women psychologically will feel good winning. And please understand, I don't want you to, like, become a loser, but understand that biologically, as a woman, if you are the feminine, there's a big part of you that needs to receive, and there's like a part of you that does separate, that will not keep just feeling energized and feeling good from constant achievement, that it also it can increase your testosterone, which over time can make you feel drained, can make you feel sick. And that's something that I will explore more, but just keep it in mind. It's something that is biological and needs to be explained more, and I'll explain that more over time. And the same thing if you're a man and you've put yourself in that receiving role, like maybe, I don't know, you're like a really modern guy, you're attractive, and you let women take care of you too much, and you are not into achieving and stuff like that. So same deal, just opposite. Archangel Jophiel would like you to keep that in mind, because she said it affects everyone's beauty too. Like, if you're very masculine, over time you will start to look and feel more masculine. And yeah, she's saying all this is to all the bee babes. I don't want to use the word. Yeah, you guys get it. Okay. This is a message for Americans, and, any culture can do this. Please, let's stop fetishizing other cultures, glamorizing other cultures. I know in my 20s, I was just so thrilled with Middle Eastern cultures and European, because it was just, it spoke to my galactic DNA, like, to many lifetimes I've been in. And, but let's not get carried away. I got a little carried away, with really liking, embracing other cultures. And so I'd like us to reel it back a little bit and try to appreciate our own cultures. You can always appreciate other cultures, but like, I was talking to Jesus about wine, which makes a lot of sense, with Jesus and his energy, who he's been, what like wine represents, all of that. Many of you know a little bit about that, but there's a lot more. But when I was more into drinking wine, like I really, really did prefer like wine from California over any other wine. I just preferred that really deep, dark, like Cabernet evaporates in your mouth. So let's just be honest about, like good things about our culture. Still liking the things about other cultures, but, embracing what is good, because this is where honesty comes in. And just hating everything about your culture is it's not cool, and it's not truthful. And this group, Jesus, the archangels, they're about truth. Not brutal honesty, not telling other people everything you dislike about them, not disclosing every little feeling, but being truthful about things. So I'm going to try to wrap this up because this is just going on. So 2026 is the same number. It's the same energy as 1963. So I'm going to look that up and probably talk to Jesus about that, and maybe come on and, when I do the prophecy and predictions, maybe talk more about that. We'll see. But go back to that time, which is like 1950s, went into 63 and the 60s. And I'm going to look that up. And oftentimes, guys, so they give me, I'm all the clairs. Very clairaudient, and I do automatic writing, but they also like show me images, and they show me things, and it's easier sometimes for them to just give me an image or give me a movie or just like show me something, and then I go and look it up, and then we talk back and forth, because now I have all the information. So I might do that. A lot of people have this misconception that they're like Wikipedia, and they're just like, sometimes they just ramble. But oftentimes they like will show me someone, like, they'll have me think of somebody, like, recently, I'll give an example. So I thought about Freddie Mercury from Queen and Iran, and then they had me thinking of Amy Winehouse, and then so they had me like put it all together, like Archangel Gabriel is just a huge part of Iran, and Freddie Mercury was the reincarnation of, he is Archangel Gabriel. His child is Amy Winehouse, who is a child of Archangel Gabriel. And Freddie Mercury was Zoroaster, who was a leader in Iran. So this is how it all ties in together. But they just show me people and the connections, and then I look it up, and so then it's this like back and forth. So if you guys get images and you get ideas from me and stuff, look things up, and the more that you go into your intuition by looking things up and studying, the more things will, the more that they will open up to, because that's like a positive portal to them, and it's like a respect. Like you're taking the time to like study things, and then they help you, and you know, that's how you can become an expert at something. And you know, within reason, because, you know, I've had to tell people like, you know, being a medium is not your thing, but that doesn't mean like that they wouldn't get messages through that thing that they're supposed to be doing. Like a good example of that is like, you know, I told someone they should be doing astrology and astrology readings, and then once they really start doing those and doing them well, they would start to get more messages. And you know, you can look up my videos where I've had other people on, and I had a video where you know, I told someone that, and you can watch that, where she should do past life regressions, and she was like, well, you know, I just want to see spirit. And I'm like, you know, I said, well, that would just make you straight up medium, which is not her thing. But if she just continued down the road of the past life regressions in her, you know, like Dolores Cannon, in her studying that and listening to people and writing down what they say, then she would start to get inspired, and she would start to actually get more messages. So I hope this makes sense, what I'm saying, and just a little guide on how to work with spirit. If you are interested in something, go down that rabbit hole, see what you get back, see if you're getting more intuition, if you're getting more messages, and if that's what you want, you might change course. And you know, especially if you're galactic, if you're ADHD, you know, sometimes you start off on something, and don't be afraid that you get bored with it and want to move on to something else. Because sometimes, even if it's your mission, you might move away and then come back. You might think that doing something else, like, okay, so, you know, my mission is to help others with their mission and to give the messages that I receive from Jesus and the archangels. But you can see I take long breaks, and I'm studying culture, and I'm on Instagram, and it may seem like I'm just not doing anything and I'm lazy, but I'm learning. You know, I get messages, I'm learning about people and connecting those messages, and then I get more messages. All right. So Archangel Jophiel recommended like watching 80s movies, but then also watching like 50s movies, 60s too, like 50s, but all these, like she showed me Casablanca and just that whole vibe, guys. So getting back into just dressing well, looking good, smelling good, and wasting a little bit of time, like Casablanca, like nobody worked in that movie. You know, but that's another thing is, you know, we've gotten so serious because of the wars and the drama and politics, and they're saying they want you to watch some of these old movies like Casablanca, because they were making those movies and they were enjoying themselves during, I want to say that was like World War II. So anyway, I really need to sort of wrap this up. I have one more message for millennials and Gen Z, especially many are feeling like hopeless and feeling like they're in the wrong professions or the wrong place. And they want you to understand that a big energy for you guys was to come in and not necessarily dismantle, but help. Like, use what you see, your discernment, all the flaws that you're seeing, not to like destroy, dismantle, and deflate the people who came before you, but to improve. So you came here to improve healthcare, to improve childcare, to reform it, to bring that emotion, what you didn't get in your childhood, the love, the support, the emotion that you didn't get, and to bring that, to give that to your children, to bring all of that into healthcare. And some of it has been done, some of it a little too extreme, like, but sometimes you do have to put your foot down, and this quiet quitting and this revolution, and they just don't want you to go too far to where you just permanently damage something instead of restoring it, even if it's your own spirit, your psyche, your reputation. Find ways to restore things. And yes, sometimes that is entering a workplace, especially if you're millennial and Gen Z and you're galactic. Sometimes they are recommending you enter a workplace, see what's wrong with it. Take one for the team, saying, hey, I don't want to work here, and I don't want to manage this place. It's unmanageable. It's unworkable. And you take one for the team. You can't do that with every job. You can't do that if you like really desperately need that job, which we'll talk about in the future. But in some circumstances, sometimes if you can swing it, that is, some of that is good. It is having a good effect on toxic work environments. Okay. I am getting hoarse. That is it for now. We're at 222. So, all right, I'm going to say goodbye. Have a great 2026. Happy New Year. I want to say goodbye before it's past 222. All right, bye. Love you guys. Bye.